Hello and welcome to another SDK use case video. In this video, we'll see how we can sync our VLANs with NetBox. So the idea is that we're going to get our VLANs in the Slurp'it and sync them with NetBox. We're going to use the Slurp'it SDK, and for NetBox, I don't use PyNetBox in this video, although that option is definitely available. I just use the raw REST API using requests, and I will go through the steps. I will first go and see how we can create a VLAN manually in NetBox, and we'll see from there. So in NetBox, if I go to IPAM, go to VLANs, and from here, I'll add a VLAN. I can create my VLAN. This is important, and the reason I'm showing you this is because I want you to know the mandatory parameters, because these are going to be exactly the parameters that are needed when working with APIs and when we want to actually put our parameters in the payload body of the post request. So what we want is the VLAN ID between these numbers, the name of the VLAN, the status, which is either active, reserved, or deprecated. In the REST API payload, all of these are the same, except in the payload, you will deal with lowercase letters only. And we have other things. If you want to learn more about how they are constructed in the API payload, you will go to the Swagger page for NetBox. From here, you will find this API request, a post request to the endpoint, and these are the example values. And again, not all of them are necessary, just like what you saw in the UI. For example, you need the VID, this is the VLAN ID, the name, and status as mandatory parameters, and these are going to be the ones we actually use in our script. From the Slurp'it side, for Slurp'it, I'm using our SDK, but again, I'm using the search planning SDK, the script, but SDK is just functions. Under the hood, we're doing the same thing. With the example values in the request body, again, we're using basic things, mandatory parameters only. We are not really filtering based on device like Cisco iOS, or based on search or anything else, or based on start date and end date. I omitted all of that, and we are syncing every VLAN from every timeline with NetBox. So let's go to the lab, see how we can do that. Before going to the lab, I will go to Slurp'it, and from collected data, I will take a look at the VLANs collected data. I already ran some plannings, the VLAN plannings against my devices, and you see that we have a bunch of entries here. On the other side, there is no VLAN as you saw, and when we create these, then we are going to have VLANs in a perfect world. I also added a description to the NetBox API payload, which is not mandatory, but I just added something like added by the SDK, so we have something more descriptive. So from the Slurp'it SDK project, you will go to the dev branch. I'm currently on my own branch, but we're gonna merge it very soon. There is going to be a sync VLANs folder. There is going to be a Python folder inside it. I will add the README as well, so you know other options and how to actually work with this. Sync VLANs is a relatively, well, not gonna say long or short. It's a medium-sized script, and we have a description added by SDK. We've set up the endpoints. This is for testing purposes. For development or for production or development, you definitely want to use environment variables. From here, I will go to the terminal and go to use cases, go to the other folder, sync VLANs, and just run this script. Activate my virtual environment, run it one more time, and it has some descriptive lines. It is trying to sync, and it even tells me that successfully synced these VLANs with NetBox, plus it gives me the name of the VLANs. So it's pretty descriptive. You can obviously work with it in a way that it only syncs VLANs that are found from Cisco devices or found between different times and timeline. You can be pretty much very creative with it, but this is just a sample script to show what's possible. So it tells me that it's synced 21 VLANs. So that means if I go to browser and I will check the VLANs should be there. From here, I'll do Control R to refresh, and there we go. All these VLANs are added. It even recognizes the status based on what we get from Slurp'it. So if the status is not active in Slurp'it, we're going to exactly use that value to either say deprecated or even active if the status says active. And we have a description added by the SDK.